Welcome everybody to an episode of Flashback 15. Today we're taking a look at the McDonald's version of Jetstorm. Now, as I've mentioned in my other videos, it's amazing how with a simplistic figure, McDonald's gets a lot closer to the actual character model than Hasbro. And while that is sad, that does mean that these guys right here are usually pretty good. It wasn't so much apparent in Night Scream, but again, look at the detailing on his jet mode. Wow, I just, for a McDonald's figure, I don't know why that's so impressive, but yet, there it is. Now, while it is super close to his animation model, the one thing that is a little weird is, while he did have eyes in the show, they weren't these sort of like bug eyes. So I don't know why they did that, but you know, okay, I'm not gonna knock it for it. Other than that, how does he actually compare to the actual Jetstorm figure? You see, he's sporting his eyes there also. And, you know, this figure is about 2/3 the size of the actual figure, which in the show, that's actually about how big the drones were. But speaking of drones, if we go ahead and pull in the tank drone here, you can see that if you wanted to actually use these as Tankor and Jetstorm respectively, they are within scale of each other, at least in vehicle mode. Now, what about a modern day figure? How does he stack up, say, next to Bombshell? And you can see that, yeah, again, much like any other figure that I compare with a good sized wingspan, that's what enables him to actually be a little bit bigger than Bombshell. However, let's go ahead and not waste a moment more and see Jetstorm in his robot mode. Yes, he has no legs. That's just how his design was in the show. Now, speaking of his overall designs and such, if you look, yes, it is very simplistic, but that head sculpt is almost dead on. And you know what? I love that because his head design, personally in my opinion, was one of the better things. Now, if you see here in kind of this core area, if you were just to take notice of the areas that are solid colored, in the show, that's actually how skinny his robot torso was. He wasn't as bulked out like you see here on this figure with these clear pieces. Now, overall, how does it scale with like the actual Jetstorm figure? Well, you can see how here he is. And again, sadly, the actual Jetstorm's robot mode is a far cry. So we're gonna go ahead and move on. Now, as we talked about earlier, we saw a different version of the tank drone, but here is Generations Tankor. And you can see that these guys, if you were to watch the show, this is actually a better scale for robot mode. So again, if you wanted to use these guys as your premier generals, they would actually work well together. Now, our final little comparison here is with Bombshell. This kind of gives you an idea of how he scales with more modern day figures. But other than that, guys, I just wanted to show you one of my favorite characters from Beast Machines. While the show had its issues, it did have some pretty interesting characters, and Jetstorm was definitely among them, so I really enjoyed having just even this simplified figure. But anyway, guys, that has been an episode of Flashback 15. And until next time, guys, we'll see you in another review.